Jai Gurudev, everybody. So today was a lovely day. So in the morning when we were walking, and I went to walk with Drishti and Bhageshri, and as we were walking, normally we chant. So I'm chanting Shri Vitthal Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha. So after I finished my chanting, so we stopped and I said, just Vithala. At that moment, it was cloudy. At that moment there was like a rays of sun passing through the cloud, and the cloud took the form of Vithala standing with the hand on his, on his, you know how Vithala is standing. And it was really sweet actually, and to see that, so with Bhageshri and Drishti also, they saw also that how Vithala was there. And of course you see, the devotees see God everywhere, but it was really pleasing to see that form of the Lord. And also one thing I was thinking, you see, soon the lockdown will be over and everybody will go back to their normal things, daily things. And there will be no daily satsang and japam. There will be twice a week only, on Tuesday and on Thursday. So I hope you have enjoyed all the satsang, and really you can, that have profit you for your life also, and what you can give you a different perspective of life itself. So I will ask Jacob to ask your question now.
Dear Guruji, you have often told us that God wants to take care of us, but we don't let Him. And on the other hand, you've told us that we have to make an effort. So how can we see when to let God work for us and when to make an effort? Look,
without making an effort and just sit there and wait for God to work for you, that will not, nothing will happen. Now, you have to engage yourself, in doing, make your effort. And God is working through constantly. You have to understand that the essence of the divine itself, without Him, we will never be able to move. So the whole thing, when we have a deeper understanding that without Him, there is no life. So are we separate from Him? No, we are not separate from Him. He is the one which engages in everything that we do. And of course, He is the one which plans everything. Yesterday I was explaining about it. When we look at matters, for example, matter in general, it's without any energy. What energizes the matter is life itself. For example, when we take the 5 elements which this body is made up of, the 5 elements, of course, it is a microcosmic organism of this world, So without really the energy which generate through the divine consciousness which is inside of us, which energizes these 5 elements, that body will be a dead body. After a few hours, it starts to rot. After a few days, it starts to become back to normality. It starts to become, manure for the plant and for the animal who start eating this body actually. So you see, what is engaging in doing all these is the divine in us. And those who is aware of that, like Bhagavan Krishna said in chapter 10, verse 7, those who in truth knows my glory and my Leela, they are engaged in my worship, they attain to me. And this is without any doubt, that is it. Those who knows in truth, what am I doing really? That I am that Lord who have created everything, the whole universe itself, it is created by my potencies itself, and it's sustained by my potencies. And knowing that, those wise ones who have that knowledge, they realize that how are we separate from Him? No, we are not separate from Him. We are in Him, and He is in us. So we can't do anything without that energy. If He withdraw that energy from this physical body, everything perish. You die. In the absence of the Atma inside of your body, all the senses become useless. Even the mind become useless. Even your intellect become useless. So nothing of these can exist without that energy which sustain and give life to everything in this world itself. Imagine the sun disappeared. In one of the verses, a few days ago, I was saying, Bhagavan Krishna said, I am that sun which enlight, which give life to everything, So imagine the sun disappeared. What will happen in our solar system itself? Forget about the solar system. Let's look at the world itself. What will happen? There will be complete chaos. In the absence of sunlight, everything will die. So, in the absence of the divine inside, which the Atma here is represented of, without that, you don't exist. So, who are you calling yourself? Who are you truly? You say here we are so much with big ego. We put a certain elegance of the outside and claim that this is us. We have so much things of the outside, and we are so proud of what we have, and that we say that's ours. No, who are you? You don't even yet know who you are, and yet you are thinking that you can do everything by your own. So if the divine don't give you that power to act upon some things, you will not be able to act upon anything. People are so proud very often of all their wealth that they have. What have you come here with? The Gita said, you come in this world with nothing, and you will go with nothing. So all that you took from this world. Let's analyze this part itself. You see, you come in this world, your hand is closed like this, and when you go, your hand is open like this. So everything that you have earned, your knowledge, your wealth, your friendship to this world, your attachment to this world, everything you will drop and let go. But very often people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear the truth that yes, they will leave everything one day. They said, how can I have spent my whole life slaving myself to this reality? I have spent my whole life become slave and work, and you're telling me that I will have to let go of these things? No. So that's why, they don't want to see. That's why people are scared of death itself. So that's why they don't realize that the cosmic Lord Himself, who have created everything, have created also you as a microcosmos identity of Himself. Inside He has placed Himself. In absence of that, you think that yes, you pride. You think that yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But those who have realized that glory, who have seen that in everything, it's not me, I can't do anything by myself, but there is a cosmic energy which presides over everything, that which is giving me that energy to do everything into complete surrender to Him. So, am I separate from Him? No, I am not separate from Him. Whatever I'm doing, He's part of that. But I have to give my best, because it's still, you see, one doesn't have that realization That it is the Lord which is doing everything at all time through us. We don't perceive that the whole essence of what we call the self is also a part of Him. You like to have your identity, you like to have your individuality. If you say yes, your individuality is Krishna Himself. How many would like to hear that? Nobody, not many people would like to hear that. Deep inside, they know about it, that which is residing within that Atma is part of the Lord Himself. So, but yet we are so attached to this individuality. One is so attached to that individuality, but we don't like to let go of that individuality. So due to this attachment to that individuality, we have to do our best. But being a devotee or believers of God, you have to try your best to remember constantly that it is the divine that gives you that power to act upon. Without His will, firstly, nothing will exist. You will not be here. So it is also His Leela, that His glory, His potency, which is embedded in everything, that make life an active way, make everything active here. Without that, nothing will work. So in that, there is no separation. You have just to give your best and have faith that He is with you. So when you give your best and you have faith that God is with you, you will see that even the thing that is impossible for you to imagine will transform itself completely. And you will be amazed yourself when you are in touch with that divine energy inside of you, what you can do, really. So,
Guruji, if there was one thing that you would ask us collectively as a sangha to change or improve in order to serve you better, what would that be?
To improve, firstly, like I said always, as a sangha, we have to know what is the most important thing, and that comes with knowledge. That comes with education. That comes with when you engage yourself into your spiritual knowing. It's not only practice, because you have to also to have a certain knowledge where you are going to. So throughout this satsang, I've been telling the people, the only aim is to serve God, And here, if we want really to contribute in changing something, firstly in ourselves, then and help others also to transform. First, we have to start engaging ourselves. If we don't engage in, like Bhagavan Krishna said in Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, verse 27, engage your mind, your intellect, engage your perception, So here he said, engage your perception, activities and sensitivities, to my worship. So those who engage themselves, do this effort for the transformation, to change something, they don't get, trapped in the clothes of delusion. So they will not attain to the path of dying. They will not reach to that death state, because very often you see people which is not engaging themselves, but you see, when we are talking about engaging ourselves, we are talking about engaging in passion. We have to be passionate in our engagement. So when we are passionate in our engagement, then we will never feel depressed or unhappy. So then this comes, like I said, with knowledge itself. That's why these past few years I've been saying to teach the people, so that it's not just superficial, but they have a certain understanding why they are here really. So if you do that, you engage yourself into your education, spiritual education, and get to know about, like I said, study of Bhagavad Gita is very important, because that helps you to transform the way you see life itself. Because you see, very often, if our mind, let's say our mind is sitting in idleness, so if our mind is sitting in idleness, we become lazy. Then we take life for granted. Then we will do something, but then we will stop. We will start something, but we will not have that energy to carry on. Like that, you have seen many people when they go on the spiritual path at the beginning, they are very enthusiastic. They have great enthusiasm, but then after that, they drop down. They go slowly, finish. Then they look for another enthusiasm, something else who will make them enthusiasm about something. So they're running very often after that sensation. So if you run behind sensation, you will have up and down, up and down, up and down, but it will not lead you anywhere. So you have to engage yourself in a passionate way. When you engage yourself in a passionate way, there's no up and down. There's only rising. It's not that you will not go down, because sometimes your mind will kick in, which will put you down. But yet, due to your passion, due to what, you see, your intellect is always attached to all what you have done in the past, So that also, when you are clear about what you want to achieve, that intellect will fall back again, bring back again that time where you had this energy, that enthusiasm inside of you. So that will push you forward again. So in that way, that will help you, and you will be able to help others also. And like I said always, if you want really to grow, spread the message that I have given you. Spread the message of love to everybody. So that's what I'm here for, and that's if you want to serve in that way. So be active in that. So when you get active into that, it becomes easy. Very often we expect from people. When we engage ourselves, we do our service to people, we are doing service to the Guru, we are doing service to God. But yet there's an expectation when we come with other people. What happens? We expect people to listen to us. We expect people to be how we want them to be. And when we have such expectation, when the people don't respond to that expectation that one have into the mind, then disappointment will come. This is where very often you see people drop and say, okay, if nobody want to listen to me, nobody want to do that, then I should not also do. And this is a wrong way of taking life itself, taking what you want to engage, what you want to do, what you want to move forward with. If you get disappointed already by that, then how would you handle the people when they are coming to you, saying, yes, please help us. So this is a learning process, you see. In life, we go through different learning process which make us stronger itself, especially devotees, which is on the people which is on the spiritual path. We have not to get discouraged when things doesn't go your way. Always take it in a learning process. And knows one thing, like you have to shoot an arrow, sometimes you have to go back, then release. So like that, sometimes you have to go back a few steps to view life. And when you see that what you have to do. You have to change certain things firstly in yourself and adapt to the understanding of others also. Then you can engage with them, you can talk with them, you can give what you have, you know. But if you go like a bulldozer really over the people with, you know, of course, because when somebody is on the spiritual path, you know, like I said, when you have this enthusiasm inside of you, and you want to change the world, you want to make peace in the world, you want to bring something, of course it's beautiful to have that energy, but you have to see that not everybody can handle such energy. You know, you want to speak up your mind with the world, but yet you're not ready to listen what the world is telling you. So how would that be? So if you're not ready to listen to them, why would they be ready to listen to you? You know, so it goes hand in hand together. So you see, getting involved into your spiritual path, you know, and really understand firstly where you stand. Understand firstly your path itself and what you can contribute to this society, what can you contribute to this world itself. That is spiritual engagement. So if you want, according to your question, you know, what is the question in the second part of it?
In order to improve, to serve you better, what would be the thing that you would ask from the sangha?
Yeah, well, that's what I said, you know. Firstly, find and make unity with yourself, you know, and make unity with the people which is dear to you, near to you. So like that, if the sangha itself is in peace, that will attract other people also. But if the sangha is in competition with each another, and that will be a problem. So.
Jai Gurudev, dear Guruji, you said that you are surrounded only by people who are karmically very dear to you and who are strong and selfless enough to handle you. Why then do we see some of them fall into delusion, or some who are always in a bad mood? Don't you know what will happen in advance?
Well, look, according to their karmic things, I have to give them opportunities, you know. Sometimes I give them one opportunity to advance, and because they see very often they don't know themselves. They think that because they are near to me, they are very, I say, they are safe. Of course they are safe. The point is they don't know themselves. They don't know what they hold inside of them. They don't know the journey of their own Atma, you know. So for me, when I see somebody, you know, and which have known through many lives, or spiritually they have grown and matured itself, the Atma called for the Guru, you know. So that's why the Guru appeared. So when the Atma is calling to be free, but yet the delusional mind is still there, you know, of course I would try my best to change their mindset, but I can't force anybody. This is not my way, you know. I always let the people free to go on their own journey of transforming themselves and growing, you know. So I will be always there to remind them, but if they themselves don't want, I can't force them. That's why some people which is or was close to me, or you know, you can see that if they don't engage themselves in transforming of their mind and be clear about where they stand point, of course they will fall, you know. So it is not that they are free, you know. And also, like I said to you, I'm not the one that will stop them, because you see, one thing I have learned, if you tell people no, is when they already have certain things upon in their mind, they will not listen. Now they will still go and do what their mind is telling them. And sometimes, you see, you have to go through, I say, this world itself to realize that. You know the story in the Bible, the prodigal son. You know, it is a very interesting story. You know how the son went away from the father, And for many years he went away and lose everything. And then he have to come back again to the father. When he came back to the father welcomed with open hand that son of his, So like that, to see people, sometimes they don't realize, how many lives they have earned. They have done penance and they have done so many spiritual practice to attain to that state of where they are now, and to lose that, it is a pity. And that I have seen so many people, when they value themselves, when they start to think I and mine, then they lose it. That's why Bhagavan Krishna, that's what I said in the Gita, Krishna said, you should forget about yourself. You don't know who you are. So who you call yourself is me inside of you. But yet you don't know about it. In Bhagavad itself, you see beautifully the story of Puranjara, for example, where the two friends were separated. One went to see the whole, he wanted to have a palace, he got married with a queen, and he became like king. And also, you can read Puranjara story and it's such a beautiful story, actually, which give you an indication itself of life itself. If you don't understand the deepness of that, you can just read it as a story, but reflect upon that. You see, I have seen people reading this story, know everything, but then they change completely. They see, actually how the delusion of the world is so strong. And you see, one thing is Maya is very powerful, and if you don't center your mind clearly, even being near to the Guru, and yesterday there was a question, why many organizations, I say, after the Guru passed away, the organization fall, So you can see clearly the delusion of the mind. Don't take being near the Guru for granted. When you take yourself being near to the Guru for granted, of course, your pride and ego will be there. When your pride and ego is there, then you will lose it. And this is the sad thing about it. And I have seen so many of them, Maybe I will see much more. Hopefully not, but what to do, And that is life itself. Everybody have to go and into whatever boat they choose to be, and that make them happy. Well, that is the most important thing, If they think that is happiness into this world, then they forget why God sent them to be near the Master itself, and why God sent one to be in the spiritual path itself, So that's why. It's not because I don't know about it already, Very often you can see that when people are into such delusion, and I always warn them beforehand. I always ask them question beforehand, but I would never tell them directly, but they can hear it, but when it happens, they forget everything. And this is funny to see. Some years back, I told somebody everything. This will happen. This. And I sat down with that person and tell everything. Him and his wife. Da 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 da. When the thing happened, the delusional mind make them forget completely everything. It's as if they have never heard about it. But other people which were there, they know what I told them already. So like that also very often, I have noticed that when somebody is on that delusional state, even being near to me, I always warn them, but this, but I don't say directly, you will do this, you will do this. Sometimes I do. But you see, they are so engaged into their own delusion and fulfilling their own desire. I, so they forget about the Master also. But this is, like I said, it is life. It is sad to see people in that way. When they could really shine the light what they have inside of them, but yet they let the ego or impatience or whatever delusion into the mind cover up their reason. And of course, like I said, Maya is a very powerful weapon, but God put as test on the spiritual path. But if you engage yourself in your relationship with the Lord and Guru clearly and really strictly and really sincerely, then there will be no fallout.
Guruji, nowadays many people are talking about balancing between spiritual and material. Very often it sounds like a hidden fear to fully surrender to Bhagavan and accept him as the only means of life. Do we need to have a balance between the two?
Well, it is important to have a balance between the two, but one thing is that when we go into just the material side of life, then we forget very often the spiritual side of it. We don't see that being into the world, this is our duty. We are in the world. We have to work, and but we have to incorporate our spirituality into what we are doing. Like Bhagavan Krishna on the battlefield, and when Arjun was sitting and crying, what did he say to Arjun? He didn't say to Arjun, okay, because you are sitting and crying, let's go. Let's turn the chariot and run away. No, he stood there as the Guru to remind him that your duty as a Kshatriya warrior, you have to stand upon the battlefield. It's not about running away. So that battlefield is life itself. You have to do your allocated dharma. Whatever dharma he have put you into, you have to engage into that dharma itself. So when you start to engage into that dharma, just don't forget about him. That's why he said to Arjun, engage, fight, but let your mind be upon me. So keep me in your mind. So do your dharma into the world, work, have billions, work for money, whatever, but let your mind be centered upon God himself. So it's not separate, because you have been born into this world. If you just sit idly and said, okay, God will come to me, God will come to me, then you will not. Then God will say, you are a lazy fool, why should I come to you? So like that, it is important to realize that in whatever duty we are doing, into the material world, it is also spiritual, because that is where work becomes worship, by remembering the divine. And some people will say, I don't have time. If you have time to go and check your mobile, you have full time to close your eyes for 1 minute and think of him. If you have time to go to do other things, just find an excuse just to go for a few minutes to connect with him. When you just take an excuse, for example, say you're going to the bathroom, sit down, close your eyes, think of him inside of you. You don't need big mantra. You don't need big Veda mantra, You just need to know his name. And when you know his name, call for him from the depth of your heart, Even if it is mechanically, just do it. Like that, you engage the Lord in whatever you do. So you make him a partner in whatever you do. So you will feel him. You will feel his energy. You will feel his help. You will feel that he's always next to you. Then you will feel that there is no time that he's not there with you. So it is no separation, but from the material life and the spiritual life. They are all interconnected. together. When you try to separate it, this is where problems arise. Very often when people go on the spiritual path, they break completely from the material world and enter fully into spirituality. It's not good. And the same thing, when one engages completely into the spiritual field, their mind is turned towards the material life. So then there is dependency upon, then fear will arise, then you can't concentrate upon your spiritual path. So it is important to be clear firstly, like I said, in what you're engaging. If for some people, they go into the material thing, then your mind have to be detached completely from from the material fear, but you will never have enough. Then you have to have complete trust that God will sustain you, like He have said, those who have surrendered their mind to me, and worship me, and engage into that, I take control of them and I look after them, and this He does. I'll tell you something, I have seen people transform from nothingness to having everything, and I have seen also people who have everything coming to nothingness in fraction of a second, changed completely. So if He could do that, and this is His power. There's a beautiful story, if I remember it clearly right now. One day there was a king who wanted to know, the power of God, what God can do. And he tells to the guru there, and the guru said, "Okay, fine. If you want to prove me that God can do anything." And they said, "Okay." He gave him 3 days. So he came back home and he was depressed completely, and said, "How can I prove God? I'm His servant. How can I ask Him to prove? And I don't have much faith." So sitting at home, he was a bit miserable, and he asked then the son was looking at him and said, "Please, what is wrong with you, father?" And the father said, "The king have said to prove me that what God can do." And the son said, "Okay, fine, tomorrow bring me to the court, but please don't interfere." So they said, "Okay, fine." So the next day he was brought to the court, and to answer to the question, said, what God can do. And then the son said to the king, for me to answer you to this question, you have to make me your guru. And the king said, "Okay, fine, you are my guru now, so I'll take you as my guru." So then I said, "As you have taken me as your guru, so whatever I tell you to do, you have to do." I said, "Yes, of course, this is Guru Agya, So saying, the son said, tied my father to a pillar. Okay, they tied the father to the pillar. The father was thinking, "Oh, what a fool, what I have done, to deserve such a son like that. What is he going to do next now?" So, and then he said to the king, "So as being your guru, for me to impart that knowledge to you, I have to sit upon your throne. So you have to get down." That's okay. Now this is Guru Agya. So he get down, and he sat upon the throne of the king. And then he ordered from the throne of the king to bind the king. Also, and of course, the king have to get bind by the soldiers. All shocked. Then he explained to the king, "Look, you were asking what God can do. So in fraction of second, He have made you, the king, just like somebody which is attached to the world. And look at me, who don't have anything. He have me sit on your throne as a king. So this is the power of God, And you are asking how God, you are asking my father how to explain about what God can do, But look at my father. He is bound, by Maya. How can he, somebody which is bound by Maya, explain about the greatness of God? First, one have to be liberated. Then one can explain the greatness of God. So like that, you also king your mind by all this delusion of the outside. How can you be free from that, if you are bind? So saying, he asked them to release it, and he explained, you see, look, everything here is bound by a certain reality, but you have to bind your mind to the Lord himself. So that's why, you see, if you really want to engage yourself into this world, and really be clear about, if you are entering the spiritual, the path, let's say you are going to an ashram, just be clear, but you should forget about the world outside. Then you will progress and you will grow. But if you are in the world outside, think of the divine. Let your mind be focused upon him in whatever you do. And you will see that the grace of Guru and God is with you, wherever you are. So you are never really, like I said always, you are never alone, So, like that, when you are clear, everything becomes clear also. Jai Gurudev.